doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. Okay, so y'all know how much I really enjoy Capcom's arcade ports on the NES, right? Well, today we're going to talk about one, and this one is pretty dope. On a real personal level, for some reason, this one is second only to maybe Legendary Wings as far as the Capcom ports that I'm a big fan of on the NES, as far as their arcade stuff. Originally, this game came out in 1985, and much like Bionic Commando and a couple other ports of Capcom's arcade titles, the home version is a bit different from the NES version, from the arcade version. The home version came out in 1987, and today's game is Section Z. Now, Section Z, the arcade version, charged this lone little astronaut in a red suit with infiltrating a space station that turned out to be controlled by aliens that were using it as a base of operations for their impending invasion of Earth. And you march through each lettered section of this space station to the titular Section Z on your march to destroy these aliens and stop the space station from attacking Earth. The NES version is the same in that you infiltrate a space station. You're there to stop an invasion force from using the space station to attack Earth. And you're wearing a red spacesuit. As far as some of the biggest, most notable changes in this game are in the control scheme. In the arcade game, you had 2 action buttons, as well as an 8-way joystick. And you use those action buttons. One button was to fire, the other button was to change which direction you fired in, because you had enemies attacking from both directions. The NES version, they decided to go with a button to fire in each direction, which is cool, but in a way it's kind of confusing. Because for a player like me who didn't realize what was going on, I thought I had broken something the first time I played this game. But that's neither here nor there. I'm older, I know better now. I didn't have that problem anymore. As far as the level layout, the NES version is definitely not linear. Though there is a set path to go through to get to the end of the game, there are definitely a number of dead ends and pitfalls that will send you back to the beginning of the levels. There are 1 or 2 that may send you all the way back to the beginning of the game. Things like that happen. And for what it's worth, those things can be frustrating and challenging at the same time. Because there's nothing worse than getting halfway through a game like Section Z with all of its enemies and things like that, and hitting a point where you get shot back to the beginning of a level with very little health. Weapons power-ups, they pop up just like in every other shmup you've ever played. And this shmup also has the added feature of sending players to, in addition to defeating enemies and sending them through a set course, you also have to make sure that you find these space station, these generators set throughout the space station to destroy them. If you don't, you won't be able to complete a level. So that's another added challenge to this game. Like I said, this one, it's definitely not for the faint of heart, much like every other Capcom arcade port that came out in the 80s on the NES. Do I recommend it? Definitely, because I'm a fan of shmups, one, and two, I'm definitely a fan of some of Capcom's arcade work and how it translated to the NES. Another cool feature in this game is the soundtrack. The soundtrack stands alone as some of Capcom's finest early work on the NES. You can hear it in the background on this video. It's really well done. But that's neither here nor there. I fully recommend you picking up a copy of Section Z on the NES. And also, if you have access to either an original Xbox or PS2, or if you have a PSN account or Xbox Live account, you can hop on the respective consoles and get Capcom Classics Volume 1 for the PS2 and Xbox, or the Capcom Arcade Cabinet Collection on PSN or Xbox Live Arcade, and you can find yourself a copy of the arcade version within those games. I fully recommend both versions. Titled Section Z is one of those things that Capcom should definitely revisit. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow.